seeing how early she's appreciated that diversity and that each place is different and that people are different, that has been really rewarding for me. And as far as in terms of us, we live together, we get to experience each other day to day, but being able to experience her outside of the home or outside of the country or in a whole different atmosphere is really a joy to see. It's really just something that I kind of hold dear to me. Yeah.
Welcome to Travel Love Legacy, a podcast that highlights and celebrates the experiences of Black and Brown families who use travel as a means to create and build legacy. Hear the stories of Black and Brown parents who are building a nest egg of long-lasting memories, resiliency, and worldly perspectives for their young ones. I'm Melanie, the host and creator, the Trinidadian Canadian mother of a pink-obsessed and awe-inspiring princess. Travel Love Legacy is a collection of stories that serves to inspire those who are yet to take the leap, so together we can leave behind a world filled of Black and Brown global citizens.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Travel Love Legacy. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Kaisha. Now, Kaisha is a fellow Trinbagonian, someone from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and she's a single mom just like myself. Kaisha talks about why she thinks it's so important, especially as a single mom, to travel with her daughter, what they like to do, especially going on cruises. And something that's very interesting, she usually plans her trips last minute. Now, I must admit that the spontaneous last minute planning is not something that I tend to do, but I think it's really interesting, the mentality and some of the perks that come along with spontaneous trips and how she thinks about them. But overall, Kaisha's conversation, there are so many gems and so many tips, I think, that the average listener can definitely take and learn from. So I hope you enjoy. So I began the interview with Kaisha by asking her to introduce herself and to describe some of her earliest memories with travel.
My name is Kaisha. I am originally from Trinidad and Tobago, but I do now live in the US. Travel for me, outside of traveling with my daughter, started with my mom. So that is something that those memories that I shared with my mom is something that I wanted to do with my daughter. Like, I do remember as a kid traveling here to the US with my mother or to other islands. I remember traveling to Grenada when I did my big exams to go to high school. So that those experiences is something that I wanted to have with my daughter, but from an even younger age, and I wanted to be able to just take her to different places with me and experience more than I did. You always want better for your child, right? So traveling with her, I actually was super excited to do it. I actually traveled quite a bit when I was pregnant, so I always say that she's been to a lot of places ever since in the summer. So my first time actually traveling within the US with her, she was just about 4 months, and we had traveled to Miami for Thanksgiving to visit family, and I took her to the beach. I was so excited to dress her up, get pictures, and then her first time traveling internationally was at 5 months to Trinidad and Tobago. Again, very exciting. A lot to do to prepare to travel with a newborn by yourself. So that was her first time. I just love it. I just like, being able to see her experience new things. I remember on that very first trip, she, again, was 5 months and she was just like sucking on a piece of mango. And that was, everything to me. So I like being able to see her experience new things or things that she wouldn't be able to experience where she lives.
I then asked Kaisha to talk about how her daughter has reacted to traveling with her mom.
So far, I could tell that it's something she loves to do. She loves going new places. She loves going to the beach. She always wants to talk about how each beach is different and the different type of shells that she sees or the different type of people that's on the beach. So seeing how early she's appreciated that diversity and that each place is different and that people are different, that has been really rewarding for me. And as far as for in terms of us, we live together, we get to experience each other day to day, but being able to experience her outside of the home or outside of the country or in a whole different atmosphere is really a joy to see. It's really just something that I kind of hold dear to me. Yeah.
Traveling holds a different meaning to different individuals. So I asked Kaisha to describe why family travel at that, is important to her.
To be appreciative of the difference that we see. I feel like as people, we're so used to our day-to-day lives and the way that we see things, and it's really eye-opening to be able to go to a different country, go to a different city, and just see the way of life for different people. Like you go to New York and you see these people who have a great life with no cars, and they're able to get around and hop on public transport and walk a lot. And yet New York is 3 hours from me.
So in this next question, Kaisha explains her MO as to how she goes about planning family trips.
Family planning in terms of travel. For me, I'm very spontaneous with travel. Like, take for instance, I just booked last week a trip for us for next month, right? Because I was thinking, spring is coming up. I don't know what I want to do. I asked her what she wanted to do, and she actually told me, she had a dentist appointment last week and she missed a day at school, and that day they spoke about the Bahamas. So she's like, Mommy, I missed it. I wasn't there. So I decided, okay, well, that's what we're going to do for spring break. We're going to go to the Bahamas. So you'll get to actually immerse yourself in that culture and see what it is. And now you get to learn, I guess, firsthand what you missed in school the day that they spoke about Bahamas. So yes, next week we're going to go to the Bahamas. And I like the whole spontaneity of it, because sometimes it's really about what you want to do right now, like, or how you feel in the moment. I may plan a trip for next year, and then as it gets closer, I don't feel like going to that place. My mind just isn't into it. So I really appreciate the last minute spontaneous trips, because I feel like that trip is what I needed in that moment. It correlates with how I feel in that moment.
Spontaneous trip planning is not something that I personally have ever contemplated. So I asked Kaisha, what are some of the advantages to her of planning a trip last minute?
Well, for me, the number one advantage is taking care of your soul in that moment, right? Taking care of because sometimes we feel for a certain something. Like she was saying, she felt like she missed out on the lesson on the Bahamas, right? And sometimes you're just going through some things like, oh, I wish I could have a vacation. I wish I could do something. I don't know how my body's going to feel, how my mind is going to feel a year from now. So I feel like the spontaneity and being able to just kind of book a trip close and, that close really it heals what I need at that moment. That's the best way that I could put it. It's just like, right now I feel like I need some bonding time with my extra bonding time with my daughter in this place that she felt like she missed out on in class. So yeah, that's what we're going through in this moment, and I feel like that is gonna help to heal what we need right now.
To make it more practical, I then asked Kaisha to impart on us any tips or considerations that one should make when thinking about planning on short notice with kids, specifically with minimal stress.
For me, I have an account that's just for travel. So that's something that, and I just constantly kind of put towards it, right? Because I know that we like to travel. So set that aside and it's there, and I know, hey, I have this amount that's in this account. We could take a trip. Like, we could do that. And then mentality wise, I have a mindset of the money will come. The more I spend is the more I make. The money will come. So that's just how I kind of go about things. It's like, I'm not going to get this time back. I'm not going to get this time back, but the money will come. The money comes. So, yeah, I just think a tips would be to kind of just put things aside. If you know it's a goal that you want to have, put a little finances aside. I created a Pinterest board of, travel places that I want to go, things that I want to do. And then I've kind of put my life in such a way where it's like geared towards travel. Now I have like a travel kit. So in this kit, I have like a toothbrush, this, that, everything that I need, my little travel size, facial wash routine, everything's in this little bag. And it's like, okay, if I decide to go next week, I don't have to run scrambling for everything because I know what I have here. Like, I know this is our travel kit. And I had the same thing for my daughter. Like, she has a bag that she know, okay, I'm traveling, this is the bag that we're going to use. So there are just those little details, I think, kind of make a whole difference, a difference in the mindset when it comes to travel. So I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to go out and get this, we got to do that, we got to do that, in terms of trying to prepare. I've taken small steps to make sure that it's easy, to make that travel lifestyle easier for us.
We interrupt the story to deliver a very important message. If you're liking what you're hearing and want to learn more, please like, share, subscribe, and leave us a review. Anything you can do to help us out would be greatly appreciated, as your support will go a long way in keeping this podcast alive. Thank you. As you can tell as you listen along, Kaisha is very experienced when it comes to last-minute trips. So I asked her to suggest some family-friendly destinations that she's experienced that are perfect for those spontaneous getaways.
Destinations, I wouldn't say destinations per se, but I'd say if you want to do something spontaneous and last minute, don't knock the local or within the US travel. Go visit some family. Take a trip to New York. Like, there's a lot of people that live in the US that have never been to New York, I've never been to Florida. So yeah, that would be my advice, is to don't think it has to be an international thing. You have family here, take a weekend, take the train. The train is also an option. You don't have to fly everywhere. Drive to New York, drive wherever was major city near you. Go to a park. There's a lot of national parks. So that would be one of the tips to someone just looking to start. It doesn't have to be international. There's a lot of local places, a lot of sites, a lot of things still to be seen where you are. Even if you're not living in the US and you live in a country like Trinidad and Tobago, you're from Trinidad, go to Tobago, go to Togo, go travel, just move, keep moving.
So listening to Kaisha, I'm beginning to reconsider that maybe I may throw in a last-minute trip here or there. But in order to affirm whether or not this is something that I could potentially do, I asked her for some further tips on finding lesser-known gems and off-season locations that can be explored without extensive planning.
I'd say social media. Everything is on social media, and I love, even when I'm traveling locally or internationally, just going to TikTok or to Instagram and just type in whatever you're looking for. Something is gonna pop up, and there's somebody else talking about the experience, and that is one of the powers of social media now, and YouTube. Just go on, look, see, hey, where I'm going to travel to Puerto Rico. And you see what someone else, and I've gone to a lot of places based on seeing other people's suggestions online, or avoided a lot of places, or avoided a lot of situations or scenarios. So that would be my number one thing, would be to go to social media, take a look, hop on Pinterest, ask your friends. I had a coworker that even though we were coworkers, I don't see her sometimes maybe once or so a month, send me an email saying, hey, I'm trying to take a trip with my family. What do you recommend? These are the places that we're looking at. And we had a long exchange back and forth about it. And it felt so good to be able to tell her, okay, so this is what I did here. This is what I didn't do here. So reach out to people that you've known, and get that first-hand experience. And then sometimes your experience may not be someone else's. So even though they may tell you, hey, well, I didn't have such a good time at this. That doesn't mean that you completely avoid it, because different people like different things. I like the beach, or some people that don't like the beach. I could go to the beach any country that I go to and be fine with my travel, But yeah, reach out and hear what different people have to say about different destinations.
As a single mother, I know when traveling, safety measures is at the very top of my list when I'm making considerations on where to go. So I asked Kaisha what she thinks about safety and what steps she takes to ensure that she has a safe trip for herself and her daughter.
One of the things that I consider they'll do is do extensive research, even though it's last minute. Do the extensive research. And I am a safety over anything person, so I will try to take the steps to make sure that even though I'm traveling, or even though I'm going somewhere or participating in this sort of activity, that safety is always the number one priority. So looking into different safety measures, like take someone with you, or let someone know where you are, share your location. That is a big thing. Let somebody know where you are. There's a lot of things going on right now, locally and internationally. A lot of countries are putting out these warnings. I don't think that is a reason to just completely avoid travel, but just take the extra step to make sure that you that someone, you either have a buddy system, somebody knows where you are, you're reachable, pay for the internet when you go certain places, plan for that. Usually when I go on cruises, it's expensive, but I'll pay for that so that I'm able to communicate with people while I'm in the middle of the ocean nowhere. So those are things that you want to be able to do, is before you go, do the research on, hey, what can I do to make sure that I'm safe? What can I do to make sure I can communicate? And put those things in place.
In future years, when she and her daughter look back at their time spent together on family trips, I asked Kaisha what she would like the biggest takeaway to be for her daughter on these experiences.
I think the biggest takeaway for us would be that, that I would like her to have is that I wanted to not just increase her, or not want her to, is that over? I wanted her to not just have the best physically, like tangible items or education wise, but for her to see the world, not just where we live, or not just the people around her. So I want to be able to increase her mind, and her knowledge of others and other ways of life, and doing that together, because we're growing together at the same time. Even though she is younger than me, I want her to go to more places than I've ever been. And when she gets to be an adult, I would encourage that she travel solo. But still let somebody know where you're at. But I want her to know that solo travel is okay. Doing things alone is okay. It's good for you sometimes. So that's one of the major takeaways, is that I don't just want her to have, a nice bed, nice cars, nice toys, the best education. I want her to be able to experience things. Experiences, something that nobody could ever take away from you. Someone can take away a toy, they could take away something tangible, but the experiences that I give her, something that no one would ever be able to take away from her and from me.
Thanks for listening to Travel Love Legacy. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Doing this really helps me to grow. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Travel Love Legacy. Till next episode, bye.